Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elise. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Originally, this video was going to be a 24-hour reading challenge, Greek Mythology edition. I'll show you the intro I had right here. Today, we're doing another 24-hour reading challenge. Now, if you saw my last 24-hour reading challenge, you know that it came with mixed results. However, I am 22 hours in, and I've only finished one book and half of an audiobook that's on like 1.5 speed. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna redo this and turn this into a week of reading Greek mythology. That way I can give these books a chance because I want to read them. I'm gonna go ahead and let Elise show you about the books that I'm hoping to read this week. First things first is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. This is the story of the Iliad, but retold from the girls' perspective. Most specifically, I'm gonna butcher this, I tried to look it up, Briseis. And she was a war gift to Achilles. Basically, she was enslaved during the Trojan War. And so this is a story, it says, that pulls back the veil on thousands of women who lived behind the scenes of the Greek army camp. Concubines, nurses, prostitutes, the women who lay out the dead as gods and mortals spar, and as a legendary war hurtles towards its inevitable conclusion. The next book we have is Ariadne. Ariadne is the princess of Crete, and she is sister to the Minotaur. Theseus is sent to get rid of and destroy the Minotaur, but I think Ariadne like falls in love with Theseus and works together with him to kill her brother, the Minotaur. Is she gonna have a happy ending? Is it going to be worth it? We're gonna find out. The next book on the list is also by Jennifer Saint, and it's Elektra, which I checked out from my local library. This book follows three women that all have a connection to Agamemnon. Clytemnestra, who marries Agamemnon, but then he like betrays her. But she's tied to this family now, so the family curse is now tied to her. And then Princess Cassandra of Troy has this special gift, but is cursed so that no one will believe her when she gets like these visions. Then there's Elektra, who is Agamemnon's youngest daughter, and she just wants her dad to return home from war. Can she escape her family's bloody history, or is her destiny bound by violence? Then we have the audiobook Mythos, which is written and read by Stephen Fry, who apparently is a comedian. I've heard really good things about his audiobook. He just kind of tells stories from Greek mythology, Pandora's box, Prometheus's fire, and transforms the adventures of Zeus and the Olympians into emotionally resonant and deeply funny stories. So like I said, I've already completed Ariadne. I have also been listening to the audiobook Mythos by Stephen Fry, and you guys, I am loving it so much. I'll put those clips here. What book should I start first?
Ariadne.
Ariadne?
Yeah.
Ariadne it is.
But I'm so frustrated.
It's quite a bit later. I'm only 105 pages in. This book is kind of dense. That being said, I'm still enjoying it. Ariadne's dislike and underlying hatred for her father is very obvious. She just finds him very cruel and very power hungry. You kind of see in the very beginning how he hated the Minotaur, but then whenever the Minotaur has his like first experience with extreme violence, then he's like, ooh, I can use this to my advantage and make other people fear me without doing any of the work. Minos goes off to Athens and has war with them because his son died on their land, even though they didn't kill him. The truce that they called was that they would send 14 children to the Minotaur for him to basically devour and play with and kill as a sacrifice to please Crete and Minos. So that's where Theseus comes in. He steps in to be one of these sacrifices, even though he is the Prince of Athens. He and Ariadne just have like this spark, and she just like knows that they're meant to be together and like decides to help him. That's where I'm gonna end it, because that's where I think that a lot of people would already know about. So we just finished part 1 and we're about to start part 2. Things are getting kind of crazy. We're doing a dual point of view now. So it looks like we're going from Phaedra to Ariadne and back and forth. I think Ariadne is gonna go through some character growth. I'm hoping she gets a little more courage and strength and belief in herself, because even though she helped Theseus, which was like a huge leap of faith, she just needs more faith in herself.
I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before the new.
Hello everyone, I have made it to page 182. We have gotten a little bit more of Phaedra. I have to admit that I prefer her point of view. Her style and tone of voice is a little bit faster paced and easier to follow. She's also a little bit more of a go-getter than Ariadne is. Ariadne just kind of lets things happen to her, and that's not my favorite kind of heroine. We also have been introduced to Dionysus, and that's been fun. I like him, but he's a little long-winded. I need to finish some like thumbnails and keywords and tags and blah blah blah, all of that kind of stuff for the YouTube video that came out before this. I'm gonna listen to Mythos while I do that.
I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed.
Hey everyone, it's a little past midnight. I have a little over 2 hours listened to Mythos. It's definitely really fun and quirky. I'm fading, but I'm gonna try and read some more of Ariadne. Hey guys, it's 1:03 a.m. I just got to page 219, and I think I've read the same paragraph like 4 times, so I'm gonna sleep. See you in the morning.
The number 12 seems to have taken on important properties. It is divisible by 2, 3, 4, and 6, of course, making it twice as composite as the stupid number 10.
Of course I had to sneeze right as I put my mascara on. It's a good look. Good morning everyone. I've been up for about an hour listening to Mythos. I'm really having a good time listening to it. It's so funny. Also, that's my dog over there. She's upset because my mom left for work. She's okay, even though it sounds like she's being tortured or something. This book is so funny because we have these situations with the gods. Stephen Fry kind of interjects what he thinks their conversations might have looked like, but with like a modern twist. And so just hearing about these things at the origin of the world or whatever, and like hearing them use modern lingo and like dissing each other is so funny. I don't know if this will age well or not, but I'm having such a good time. Hey everyone, I'm still listening to Mythos. I am 5 hours and 17 minutes into it. I'm really enjoying it so much. So I'm gonna keep listening to this, and please don't judge me. This is such a mess in here. Like, it's such a mess. I'm moving soon, so a lot of stuff is like over here. So I'm gonna do some cleaning while I listen and put you on a time lapse. Hello everyone, and I finally finished Ariadne. A lot of people in this story have really sad endings. I was just talking to my mom and I was just like, wow, I forgot how depressing Greek mythology is sometimes, but it's also so fascinating. But I feel like there's always this madness that creeps in over time. And maybe that's the story that the gods are supposed to tell about the madness of humanity and eternity. Anyway, finished this. Like I said, it was very beautifully written. I have some beautiful quotes in here that just really stuck with me, but I'm glad to be done with it. Now we're gonna get into some of these. Elektra is also by the same author as Ariadne, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one down for a bit and get a break from Jennifer Saint. And I think the next book that I'm going to read is going to be The Silence of the Girls. I think it's gonna be just as depressing. It's depressing but beautiful. Isn't that the point of reading? I don't know. I will talk to you guys once I get into this a little bit. It is the next day at like 10 p.m. I wanted to give you guys an update before I get ready for bed. This follows Briseis. Her style of narration is much faster, a little more stream of conscious than Ariadne. I think Ariadne just had such long, deep, wondering thoughts. I also realized that a lot of the story was told through dialogue. Like 70% of the story was dialogue. It was just a bit tedious, just very slow paced, very long-winded. I think that the story was still very beautiful. You know, the story of hubris and the pride of man and just being happy and settled with your lot. But it's when we just keep wanting more and then more and then more and then we're never happy. And I think that's really what the story of Ariadne told. However, this story, The Silence of the Girls, is so smooth. She has such a frankness that I really appreciate. And it's really interesting because I listened to the Song of Achilles, and so it feels kind of like a parallel. But in the Song of Achilles, we see Achilles from Patroclus' point of view, who obviously is an unreliable narrator because he's so absorbed and in love with Achilles. So we only see the story through that point of view. He tries his best to see the best in Achilles, whereas not everyone else has the luxury of doing that. Briseis literally watches Achilles kill her father and brothers and her husband and then becomes his war prize. That's kind of where we're at. We're at Briseis like getting used to being in Achilles' home. War home. It's just very fascinating having read Song of Achilles and like knowing what's gonna happen, but then having a different point of view and point of reference in this story. I am going to get ready for bed and then I'm just gonna read until I fall asleep. It's been a few days. I finally finished The Silence of the Girls. It's told in Briseis' point of view, first person past tense. However, about halfway through the stories, we do start getting a point of view from Achilles and also Patroclus. Achilles' point of view was told in third person present tense. I wasn't a fan of that stylistic choice because going from first person to third person doesn't really bother me, but when the tenses change in the middle of the book, it kind of threw me for a loop and it was kind of hard to get into it. And I understand it was a very stylistic choice because they were two very different people and telling two very different parts of the story. I understand it. Wasn't my favorite. I wish there was more point of view from Patroclus because he was just my favorite. Patroclus is probably what made Achilles a little more human. Achilles did not deserve Patroclus. This book was just as sad, if not more sad, than Ariadne. I think this one is more sad just because the whole time we're seeing it from her point of view as being a slave, as being someone who had freedom and a future, and that's all taken from her, and now she just has this. It's very parallel to about half of the Song of Achilles. But it was very interesting reading it from Briseis' point of view because her point of view is just riddled with fear and hatred and confusion. Fear because she is a slave and her life is placed in the hands of these men who use her like a rag doll. And then hatred because her owner is Achilles who killed her family. And then confusion because she gets these small kindnesses from Patroclus, and even Achilles has redeeming moments towards the end. Pat Barker did a really good job of capturing that. I'm glad I read it. I got some quotes that I highlighted as I went through. Sometimes at night I lie awake and quarrel with the voices in my head. We knew we were witnessing the last days of Troy, and with the city's death would go our last hope of being freed. Yet still the endless routine of weaving went on. The shuttles flew to and fro. Inch by inch the cloth grew. Perhaps because the women were afraid that if they stopped, if they broke the thread, the world would break too and carry them away. I'm glad I'm done with this. Now I'm starting on Elektra, which is also by Jennifer Saint, the same author as Ariadne. Another update for you all. I am 10 hours and 20 minutes into Mythos. We have gone through the Titans and how they came to be, the gods and how they came to be, from like Zeus to Artemis and Hera, all the way to Hermes and Dionysus. Then we came to the story of how humans were created and how Prometheus helped give them fire and his punishment for that, for going against Zeus and giving humans more power than Zeus wanted them to have. And then slowly from there we've kind of seen demigods and the interactions of the gods, mostly Zeus, with other humans and their children and offspring, and how different cities and dynasties and stuff like that have been created. It's just crazy how vengeful the gods are. There was one story, I can't remember his name, the family who founded Thebes, I remember that. The soon-to-be king, or the founder of Thebes, killed a snake at a well, but what he didn't know is that that snake was sacred to Ares, and so Ares put a curse on his family for like ever. It's just little things like that where the humans are unaware or ignorant of how important it is to the gods, and the gods punish them for it. Or like when the gods do something against each other, and instead of punishing each other because they can't really die, so they go and they attack the descendants of those gods, and all of the humans suffer for the gods. One story that I was really interested was the story of medicine, and I found that story really fascinating and fun. Had I known how dark a lot of the adult Greek mythology retellings were, I probably would have sprinkled in some young adult just to keep things a little lighter and moving a little bit faster, but that's okay. I'm really glad that I've been reading these because I have been wanting to read them for a while, and reading this for a week has given me the excuse to finally sit down and focus on them. But I was telling someone that I want to reread the whole Percy Jackson series and the like Gods of Olympus, and then slowly get over, I don't think you can see it, it's just right here, let's see, Gods of Asgard and the Trials of Apollo. I think I got them as a gift, and so I want to read all of them. Anyway, I'm gonna do some reading of Elektra and finish listening to Mythos. I'll get back with you later. Hey everyone, it is a beautiful day. Today is the last day of reading Greek mythology books for a week. I finished Mythos. I think I would give it like a 4.5 or a 4.75 in my opinion. The only reason it's not a 5-star is because I felt like the ending, or like the last maybe third of it, kind of dragged a little bit. And like I understand why he added the stories that he did, because it still is the story of the Greek gods and the influence of the Greek gods with humans, turning them into animals or being wrathful against them or being jealous of them, but it kind of lost that sparkle towards the end. That's okay, I still had a really great time listening to it. So I also picked up Elektra. I started it I think 2 days ago, and I'm currently on page 105. I'm actually having a really great time reading it. It's so fascinating having all of their points of views, Clytemnestra, Cassandra, and Elektra. I think it's so funny because in my last video, I complained about in Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom how Le Verdugo switches perspective, and I get so mad about it, but I'm actually really enjoying it in this book. And maybe it's because there are only 3 points of view in this book, and I also feel like each chapter has a conclusion where Le Verdugo kind of ends chapters on a cliffhanger, and that drives me nuts. Still love her, still really enjoyed that book and that duology, but I feel a little more satisfied with this. So I'm really enjoying it, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to finish it before the end of this week of reading Greek mythology because I need to edit this video and upload it soon. I will probably do a winter reading wrap up of all the books that I read in the winter and give you my thoughts then, so keep an eye out for that video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you love Greek mythology like me, please comment down below, let me know. And if there are any books that I haven't read or you think I should read, please also let me know, because I really am on a Greek mythology kick. Be sure to subscribe and join the fam. I love having more friends to talk books with me. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful evening whenever you're watching this. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone! Mwah! Okay. Say hi to Dad.